Okay, good morning, everybody, and welcome to this week's virtual plant clinic. My name is Bill Lester. I'm with University of Florida Extension Service here in Hernando County, and joining me, like it was our very first episode.
Remember that one?
That was over 5 years ago. That's a long
Yeah, it
time
was
ago.
like April of 2020, wasn't it?
March or April of 2020.
Yeah, when we were in the midst of COVID and couldn't leave our houses.
It's me and Lily once again this morning.
Yes.
And we first started off, we did it on Zoom. And I think the first
That's
time we
right.
did it, nobody showed up. And then it grew from there. And look at this. We have one person watching us live, and it's probably Teresa. So we've circled all the way
It's
around.
Teresa or Bassem or Buddy or what is the one with all of the vegetables? The lady up in the Panhandle. Or could be BJ. You do have your regulars. You have Cindy from Pinellas County.
Oh, yeah. We have regulars. It's just none of them are on here. It went up to 3, went down to 1. Now it says 0.
Oh, no. Well, they'll come on. And besides, you're recorded. So.
Yes, we are. So normally I'd say Bassem is here.
There we go.
So
I'm keeping my coworkers quiet. That is what you see me doing. When my husband comes back from golf, he'll be like, "Why are all the treats gone? Why are the dogs laying around in comas?"
Yeah, I remember at the beginning we had our 2 huskies and the other one, and they would all be stuffed in the office, all laying around my feet. Let me see if I get any old pictures of them. Here's Cashmere, looking way too comfortable. But yeah, we'd have the 3 of them, and we'd be answering people's questions online, trying to figure out how to do it and not get Zoom bombed. And
oh yeah, we had some issues. Well,
I never did.
I had major issues. Yeah, I'm glad I kept my job after that one. I immediately called tech services. Like, that was not my fault. I was teaching a class in the middle of a class. I guess it was my fault because I provided the opening, not realizing I was doing it. I was trying to show a commercial about HOAs, and it was on YouTube. And it was right at that second that some juvenile hackers, because you could see them for half a second, and they had ski masks on and no shirts, but you could tell it was like 12-year-old boy chest, and then they hacked me and put on animation. Thank God it was animation, but it was a tutorial on propagation, human propagation, and so I just shut the whole thing down. And then I came back on, and I had like 35 people on in that class, and they all just came back, and we all continued. I can't even remember what
all you can do is
we were talking about.
Sorry, yeah. I fixed it. So let's move on.
Yes. And then immediately after that, I called tech services. I'm like, in case you get flooded with phone calls, and they said, this is just the growing pangs of technology. And they got better at, and I never opened YouTube on a open forum again.
Well, Zoom now does so much more, and you can completely control everything. You can turn off everybody's camera and microphone, and set their chat so they can only chat with you.
Yeah.
The host. And I haven't had any problems. It's great. A lot of people really appreciate it too, because we tend to do these kind of things between 8 and 5 or 9 to 5 during the day when we're working. And if other people are working, they can't watch or participate.
Well, more and more people are being sent back to the office too, so it's hard for them if they're not working from. A lot of people would be working from home and have us kind of on in the background. But now what seems to be trending, at least up here, is get back to the office.
Same here. They took away our remote work starting in a few weeks.
Okay.
So I'll have to
Well,
be here
I entered
Friday.
my job as a hybrid job. I mean, my job here is part-time. I work 24 hours a week and it is hybrid. And my particular county where I work wants me in the office 10 of those 24 hours, which to me is an odd, well, it's not an odd number, it's an even number, but I mean, it's a strange number because it's a half an hour away. So if I'm driving that far, I'm not staying 2 hours. So they get more.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But
We'll just go in and work one really long day a week.
there you go. Well, 24 hours.
Yeah.
Doesn't quite work that way. It's flexible for me, but it's flexible for what is going on in the Master Gardener program. And I do need to be around for their events and planning for that. So what do you have horticulturally going on down there in Florida right now?
I haven't gotten any interesting or unusual emails that I can think of over the last week. Bum, 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 bum. You know, I read something, and here I should be able to pull it up here. It was through Facebook, and it had to do with the invasive insects you guys have up there.
Yeah, let me guess. I am going to guess. It is milkweed is poisonous to spotted lanternfly.
No, this is a post that a young lady in high school invented an AI-powered trap that zaps invasive lanternflies.
How do they know lanternflies from any other bug that comes near it?
Well, let me go ahead and read the post here. It's an 18-year-old from New Jersey, Selena Zhang, has invented R Treeficial. It's an AI-powered trap to combat the invasive spotted lanternfly, which has caused billions in agricultural damage across 17 states since it arrived in 2012. It is not currently a major problem in Florida. My guess is there are a few of them present here in Florida, just moved down from cars, RVs, trucking, things like that.
Well, and also maybe they just don't survive down there because when we still have some of the brown, I can never say the next word, marmorated stink bugs, which was a major infestation like 10 years ago. And my daughter came to visit she came to Florida from Pennsylvania to visit. And I'm telling you, stink bugs like fell out of her car into my yard and did not take a hold in Florida. So
I know that they have found them in scattered spots in Florida. Whether they've established they're reproducing, causing problems right now, I'm not sure. But you know, this young lady used a repurposed patio umbrella. So she's thinking outside of the box here. Solar power and machine learning. She designed a synthetic tree that emits incense from the tree of heaven to lure the pests. Is baited.
The tree of heaven is their favorite host plant. The tree of heaven is also a problem. It's an invasive plant, invasive tree, and apparently Pittsburgh is really inundated with both. Obviously, now if you have one, you have the other. I see. Sorry about that. I see 2 or 3 a day in my yard. So I usually just take my shoe off and squash them because that's what you're supposed to get rid of them. I help proctor or moderate, that's the word, a Penn State statewide Facebook page. Sorry about that ringing if you hear it. Okay. We don't have telephones. We speak through Teams on the telephone.
That's
and I didn't want to hang up on them because I want them to go to voicemail so I can see what they want later. Anyway, the spotted lanternfly, some people are inundated. I think it depends on the plants that you have. If you have the tree of heaven, of course, they're all over it, but they have other plants that they go to. The biggest problem, here's where we're going to get to where they become an agricultural economic problem, is grapevines. So, oh goodness. So, everybody's trying to call me. So of course that's becoming a problem, up as you go to Erie and as you make your way through Niagara, through New York, that's all.
Yeah, yeah.
That's all grapevines. That's all wine territory. So of course they're being watched for that and being tried to control. There is a grad student. I think she's from Penn State. I'm not sure. She might not be. I don't remember what college she's from. I just know she's a grad student, and it's her, uh, you know, doctorate project, whatever you get. She's studying guano. 11 minutes in, I mentioned poop. She's studying guano of various species of bats, and there's one species in particular where there is the most amount of spotted lanternfly in the guano. So that's good news that the bats have figured out, hey, we can eat this stuff.
Yeah.
Other birds are figuring it out. The big news of the week, where everywhere I turn, whether it is online or in person, I was at the fair and probably 5 people brought this up, and all over that Facebook page, that milkweed kills the spotted lanternfly. They take an idea that somebody saw and they run with it. Now, we're kind of sitting back saying, all right, what harm can be done with planting more milkweed? None.
It encourages monarch butterflies.
Yes, native milkweed, of course. Mm-hmm. That is only going to help the environment, but it may not be the end all for this spotted lanternfly. I have 2 schools of thought on that. Number 1, milkweed is poisonous, period. It's poisonous to everything except monarchs, queen butterflies, milkweed, beetles, and aphids, I think. Everything else, most milky plants are poisonous. Milkweed would be poisonous to us if we ingested it. So, yeah, you probably have seen some spotted lanternfly that tried the milkweed and died, and you get really excited about this. Well, just like the bats and the birds took a while to figure out, hey, we can eat these. The spotted lanternfly is going to, within 2 years, have their, whatever telepathy they spread around saying, don't eat this milkweed. So I don't think it's going to be a long-term thing. It's part of evolution. Also, what plants are people paying attention to? Milkweed. They may not be paying attention to 1,000 other plants that aren't good for the spotted lanternfly. It's what people are looking at because they're looking for those monarchs. They're all turning into chrysalises, at least here right now. So people are really excited about that. So it's what they're looking at. So I think the black and white idea, milkweed kills lanternflies, I'm sure it does, but is that the answer to our lanternfly problem? Probably not. That's just, me living a life thinking that, so.
Yeah, well, you're never going to get rid of all of them. The best you could hope for is a degree of control.
Yes, and it is better. Like I said, evolution, things are figuring out that they can eat it. Sorry.
That's okay. We have some questions on here. So, Bassem asks, how to control root knot nematodes. That's very difficult. There's not too terribly many options for homeowners. Even commercial growers, there's limited chemical controls for getting them under control nowadays. Some things that will help to control root knot nematodes in, let's say, a flower bed or a vegetable garden. Solarization during summer kind of drives them out. Working in a lot of compost, nematodes don't like that. as much. They like really sandy soil. They don't like soil with a lot of organic matter. And I went ahead and threw a link to some University of Florida information on controlling nematodes. So that'll probably help you out with that question. And we got a question about a citrus tree here. Anne has a really thorny satsuma tree. She says, you should have some. A lot of citrus does naturally have some thorns, but hers is probably 10 feet tall already. The mandarins are all golf ball size. And should they cut this one down? Not sure if it's growing properly. And it's about 6 years old.
I would say if it's very thorny, then it's gone back to its graft, its rootstock. I mean, not its graft, its rootstock. And all over Florida, you will find where I almost think that some of the citrus trees became invasive. All over the Ocala forest, you can find citrus trees that have just grown,
They
wild.
naturalized. They're out there growing wild from
Right.
wild
And
fruit.
so, yeah, they're thorny, and the fruit isn't very good.
Wait and see when it does get fruit, if it reverted to a sour orange, which means, because all citrus trees are grafted, so you can see down a couple inches above the ground the line where the two parts were grafted together.
Yep.
So if the top part dies and all you have is a rootstock growing up, you probably have sour orange. So wait, when you get some fruit off of it, if you try the fruit and it's like, oh my God, this is really, really sour, you have sour orange.
And sometimes it's like half the tree is, sometimes half the tree has gone to total rootstock and gone wild is what you would call it. And the other half is still the graft. You have a hardy rootstock that is supposed to be, what is that? Is that your tree?
Here we go. This is the ground, and this is your tree coming up. Branches that are higher up, if you still have a grafted tree, are going to be the yummy orange. Any branches coming up below where it's grafted is going to be rootstock orange. And rootstock orange is perfectly edible. It's just if it's sour orange, it's called sour orange for a reason. It is really, really sour.
The old timers in Florida forever make marmalade and various jellies out of sour.
I think it's best for marmalade.
Mm-hmm.
And you make the Hispanic mojo naranja, because naranja or naranja is citrus. So the citrus marinade you can make out of it. Other than that, you're not going to want to use fresh squeezed orange juice from them.
No. And sometimes the thorns do get rather difficult to work around. But in any citrus, when citrus was a thing more than it is now, you needed that hardy rootstock for the health of the tree, but then you needed some kind of sweet graft on it. That graft you put on would not survive on its own. The rootstock is not going to give you the sweet oranges that you want.
Oh, they're all still grafted now. So.
Yeah.
So last year, none of them had the proper sugar content, and we let them drop due to the hurricanes. I'll try them again this year. Thank you both. She does have 2 sour orange trees. So, like I said, you can look online and find possible uses for the sour oranges. Might not be something you want to make or consume, but there are things you can do with it.
And what you don't want, I don't know the size. I think she has a fairly good sized property, but it's just letting it drop, because then you're going to have fruit rats and stuff, coming to get that fruit.
Yeah. Nancy has a septic question. That's a topic that I never thought that I would be well versed in, but somehow I am. So she wants to dig in her yard for more plants, and she's lived there for 6 years, but she doesn't know where the septic is. Is there someone I can call for help? Is there a cost? At the 6-year point, you probably want to have your tank pumped. So you probably want to contact a septic company, and they bring the big stinky truck out, and they are experts at knowing where your tank is, where the flush out is, where the drain field is. So when you do have it pumped out, go out there with the man and ask him to point out where your drain field is. As a general rule, it's going to be the area where the grass always grows the greenest and the best, even during the dry time of year. For most yards, if you have septic in a drain field, it's really obvious where that drain field is. It's the greenest, the thickest, the
It
fastest
is.
growing.
Yes. In the Royal Highlands where I used to live in the spring, that's
It was the only green part.
everyone's yard was golden colored except for the strip of drain field. I don't know if this is good environmentally, but I always used to dream that why can't they make the drain field thinner and wider and at least cover like your whole front yard? You know, get some natural fertilization going on there.
Yeah.
You know what? And you're very lucky in Florida that you do have these companies that will help you out like that. I learned something before I moved here to Pennsylvania. Part of the reason I chose to move into town and be on a sewer system. They'll come out and empty your septic tank, but you have to dig it up. You have to dig to have access to the septic tank, and they'll just come and empty it and go on their way. You're responsible for the digging and the refilling. I was utterly in shock about that.
Okay, that's just unusual.
Nope,
charge you to pump
very
it.
usual here.
Do they charge to pump it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Okay. It's not a state provided benefit. I know y'all like taxes and state doing everything for you up there.
Well, that is why I live in town, and I do pay several people for different things they do to my water. But oh yeah, and sewer. Yeah, I pay the borough for the pipes and the taking away, but the pollution checking and stuff like this is a different entity. I do have to pay them both. So,
well, up there they just pump it into the rivers, don't they?
You know, I would love to say no,
but you can't for sure.
I mean, when they're working on fixing that, because what it was is for a long time, and even some older cities in Florida were built that way, that stormwater and sewage all went to the same place, so that when you have an overflow and they have to relieve it, it's all mixed together. So they're working little by little of making like a lot of, like you have in Florida, where you live in Spring Hill, your stormwater just flows freely. You know, it doesn't go into the sewer system.
Yeah.
So they actually found that's the better way, but then you have to be concerned with, of course, fertilizer and other pollutants that, you know, stormwater runoff can bring to the waterways. But yes, I wish I could say no about that sewage thing going in the river. They've come a long way. The river that is behind me, probably just a few blocks, in the, I don't know how long, but through the 70s, that river was orange. And that was from abandoned mine drainage.
Oh.
And there was nothing living in it. And they started cleaning that up. And now it's a very usable recreational river. The mud puppies are back. Do you know what they are?
Yes, I do.
Hellbenders. They're my favorite thing since I've moved up here. As a volunteer master watershed steward, my favorite thing is the hellbender. It's a large salamander. They're hard to find. They call them mud puppies because they look like mud. They just look like mud.
Yeah.
And but they are a keystone indicator that everything is fine in the food chain of the water. So we have them back. Aside from pollution and everything, fishermen felt that they were competition. And so just as a matter of habit over however many 100 years or whatever, would just club them and kill them. So, you know, it's all about education. And so,
Yep.
and it's interesting to me, becoming a volunteer master watershed steward is pretty much all the same stuff that I taught as the Florida Friendly Landscaping Program coordinator, all that end stuff about reducing stormwater runoff and protecting the waterways. It's all the same concepts.
Yeah, the basics are the basics. Like I said, I helped with a GIBNP class yesterday, and I did the introduction, which I've never done before. And they updated all the videos and what
Are
you
the
cover.
rubber duckies still there?
Yes, they were. And that
Okay.
was the first
As
time
long
I
as the rubber
seen that
duckies
in
are still
years.
there, then
Yeah, they still use that video to prove a point that when
that
it
was from
rains.
Sarasota, wasn't it?
I'm
Originally, I
not
think
sure
it
where
was
it
a
was going.
Sarasota water department.
Yeah.
Just showed in the form of rubber duckies all the places that stormwater runoff can end up, which is everywhere. So,
Yep, and it washes fertilizer and oil and pesticides, and if it's in your yard and my yard and everybody's yard, it all gets washed away together. Usually goes someplace where we don't want it to go, going to end up in a body of water. And if those bodies are connected, generally always ends up somewhere in the Gulf of Mexico. So, or in the groundwater popping back up at Weeki Wachee Springs here.
well, they're going to end up in the Gulf of Mexico here too. They're just going to take a longer trip.
Yeah.
To get there from the tiniest little stream, which you can't find them all. You cannot find them all. It's impossible. From all these abandoned mines, coal mines, that's one of the major issues. And, what all could be in there. And then once it hits oxygen, that's what turns everything orange.
Yeah.
And other industry, not to mention regular pollution. Salt is a big thing. And so it goes to
road
streams, to our Kiskiminitis River, to the Allegheny River, to the Ohio River, to the Mississippi River.
Well, what was the one kind of the classic example? Like it must have been in the 60s or 70s that caught on fire.
Was that in New Jersey?
And it burned for a while. Like the surface just burned for a while.
I'm thinking that was New Jersey or something, but
I think so, yeah. And that's when people realized, like, wow, this is really bad. We need to do something about this. And that's when they started putting together the Clean Water Act.
Yes.
And making things at least better, at least heading in the right direction.
Yep. And was it Silent Scream? The book about that had to do with
I think.
Silent Spring. Sorry, I should know that because Rachel Carson is from here. As one of the biggest environmentalists. She's from the Pittsburgh area, and so now she has a bridge named after her. And yeah, but that had to do with a lot of the DDT that the farmers were using and how it affected eagles and other things on the chain. We have another problem with eagles and other animals going on currently today here. There's a guy I know has taken it as his personal mission to educate people about this, and it's a pretty easy fix. But, sorry.
That's okay. Colby always has, because he's in a fairly busy office, lots of background noise going on. So, as always, for everybody who's here with us live today, if you have any lawn and garden questions, any comments, anything, just go ahead and put it in the chat and we'll go ahead and get your questions and get them answered. Otherwise, Lily and I guess we'll just keep rambling on for a little bit longer here today. We haven't brought up Scrapple yet up in Pennsylvania. Veronica, don't feel bad. most days I'm pretty confused also, especially, well, most work days when I'm here at the office, I'm confused.
What type of question do you have, Veronica? We'll be glad to answer it.
So we talking about Florida or someplace else? Yes, we're talking about Florida. And because Lily is up there in Pennsylvania, we keep like alluding to Pennsylvania also, because, a lot of the problems we have here and they have up there are the same, but a lot of them are different also. And some are the same, like in general, like invasive insects. We have our invasive insects, they have theirs. Some of them we both have. Can't think of too many. The worst ones up there, we really don't have that much here. Do you have emerald ash borer?
I don't know. So it must not be too much
We
of an
don't have a
issue.
huge problem. We have very, very, very few ash trees here in Central Florida.
Right.
North Florida, I'm not sure. I know they were trapping for them along I-75. You can see it looked like a little birdhouse in a tree along the highway. So they're monitoring for them. I don't know if they're a problem here or not.
I mean, obviously we have ash trees because of the green ash. It's
You have a lot of them.
Latin name has Pennsylvania right in it. So, but I don't know. I haven't heard anything about the emerald ash borer, so it must not be a trending problem right now.
It'd be west of you. It's a huge problem, Ohio and states around there,
Okay.
because ash trees are used a lot for residential trees, the ones that line up and down the street, and they've all died. And what happens to when you have a million dead trees? They fall down, they look terrible. You have to cut them down. That costs tons and tons of money. So it's been a huge impact.
Diversity has always been the key. Towns and everything are learning that now. When one tree has a problem, they're all going to have a problem. So it is best to not have 50 million of the same tree as your street trees. Ginkgo biloba are popular ones around here, and they're okay right now, but
they live in Florida. I do not know of any in the county that I know of.
Right. But as everywhere, natives are becoming the go-to thing, as well as diversity. You can't have just all of the same native either.
Yeah.
There's no monocultures. If nature was left alone, there would be no monocultures. So we can need to take a cue from, and you see that in animal life too. A lot of the purebred dogs have, more problems than your mutts,
Yeah.
Yes.
So speaking about native plants and Florida-friendly plants, our master gardeners here in Hernando County do have a nursery. They are there Wednesday and Saturday mornings. Right now, they close at 11 a.m., but during the winter, they're open until noon. They don't stay until noon this time of year because it's just too darn hot. So there's their address. Like I said, they're open Wednesday morning, Saturday morning, 8 in the morning till 11. And they have a great selection of both Florida-friendly and native plants. No invasive plants. They even, on a regular basis, will look into different plants they carry and send off photos and everything, and have Mark Frank identify them. They had, I can't remember what plant it was. It's a pretty common flowering, a pollinator attracting plant, and there's native varieties of it and non-native, and they weren't sure exactly what they had. So they don't just assume they're all non-invasive. They check into it.
Yes. And it's so difficult because you want to do the right thing. And so then, I got this native plant because because firebush is native. Then you find out, no, I don't have the native variety. Or what was, oh, this beach sunflower,
Oh yeah, yeah.
Dune
We went
sunflower.
roundy round with that.
Yes, we did. And I remember somebody saying to me, make sure you have the, what do they call it, but East Coast um, Dune sunflower. And I was like, why? Why, we're on the West Coast. Why are we being so particular? Then I looked into it, and they were saying that the East Coast Dune sunflower, which you go to the East Coast, and it is everywhere, is more purely native than the West Coast. It's hybridized with non-native varieties. Guess what? They all have across the entire
They've
state.
all, yeah.
There is no purely native Dune sunflower. So what can you do about that? Pretty much nothing. And it's a great plant, so use it.
Because I think they're all pretty much the same species, even just different biotypes.
Yes.
And there's a biotype from the Panhandle. And I think we ran it past Mark Frank, and he said over many years they've all interbred and hybridized so much.
Yes.
You can't find really pure strains of any one of them. So it doesn't matter. They're all native.
Right. As native as even, as we are, our DNA is from everywhere, so sometimes that happens with plants too. You can only do the best you can do. How to find out what they have at the nursery for the public and their hours. Well, their hours.
To find out what they got, you just need to go by and check it out. Like I said, their hours right now are 8 in the morning until 11 a.m. Wednesday
and Saturday. Yeah.
Once the weather cools off, we get into winter. Same thing, Wednesday and Saturday, but open until noon.
And run 100% by volunteers. So keep that in mind. They don't have to be there. They're there because they love to be there.
Yep.
And
I'm wondering if Veronica is still confused or not. If you have any Florida lawn and garden questions, please feel free to ask. Or, believe it or not, technically septic systems. I'm not really the expert on wells, so.
Yes, you became a unknowing expert on septic systems over the years.
Well, I've had
because it's an environmental issue. That's why.
3 houses that have septic systems, so by default, I've had to learn how to.
But also, UF made you an expert on it.
And all the new houses being built in Spring Hill are all getting the new systems that have the 2 green bubbles.
Because that's the law.
Yeah, and I'm not really
nitrogen reducing septic systems. Septic systems were created to aid with human health matters, and they've done that since they've been created. But now we also have to worry about environmental issues. So Bill knows all about how there's like extra components to these new septic systems, which helps them not send nitrogen straight into the groundwater. It gases off, basically, doesn't it?
Yes, it semi-composts things between the composting and then the filtration through the soil. More nitrogen is removed before the contents get to their final destination. Before, they used to filter out some nitrogen going through the soil, but not an awful lot. Surprisingly, they did a very, very good job of removing pretty much all the phosphorus. So phosphorus has never been a huge problem with septic systems. And you are correct that it was for human health. That's why we don't have dysentery, because we're not just flushing our toilet into the middle of the street.
Or malaria. Well, malaria is from mosquitoes, but or other various,
We do have dengue. I'm not sure if I should say that or not, but they had a case in Hillsborough County the other day.
Did the person come from another country, or had they spent
No,
time in
it was
another
locally
country?
acquired. So that happens. And
Yeah.
we still have Zika that floats around and other mosquito-borne diseases. So go out there and dump that water. If you have a really bad mosquito problem in your house, contact your county's mosquito control. Every county in Florida has one. By law, they have to have one. And
Which is
contact
why
them.
you live there. 2 reasons: mosquito control and air conditioning. That makes it habitable.
Okay, Verona asks, is Hernando County still doing the class on septic system and water well? Well, as a matter of fact, we are, and there is another one coming up as a part of the water awareness system or water awareness set of classes
Series.
series that is put on by the Hernando County Utilities Department. Let me try to find a date here. It's in October.
Is Mary still teaching that from the university?
No, Yi Lin will be here doing both.
Okay.
So Wednesday, October 8th, they will have a well and septic class over at the Utilities Department. It is free. Let's see. I will put up Colby's contact information because it is Colby's gig. He's running it. And you have to register, but it's totally free. And it should be at 10 a.m. We always do everything at 10 a.m.
Yes, everything is at 10 a.m. Yes.
So if you have questions about upcoming free well and septic classes, just send an email to Colby right here on the screen.
COPITS at hernandocounty.us.
And boom, I posted his contact information.
Yes, Bill doesn't have the link for it, so no. but Colby will.
And yeah, that class is really good. Oh my gosh. Yilin understands very, very well all the new septic systems. So if you have any questions about the new systems, she is the expert. She knows all about wells and has written on them extensively. She's a civil engineer.
No, I didn't know that.
By trade, she's a civil engineer. Yeah, she's
okay.
Smart.
Yeah, I knew she was smart. Yes.
And you know who else is smart?
Well, speaking of smart, and here he shows up.
Well, I don't know if I'm too smart. I went and had my eyes cleaned. So what I didn't realize is that all the bright flashes, it'd take me 15 minutes before my eye would clear. So.
Oh, yeah.
But it's a great day to start a garden.
It's a great day to start a garden.
Start a garden. Yep.
Yes, it is. And Veronica, there we go. Veronica finally figured it out. Yes, that is Colby's email. So if you'd like more information about that class, go ahead and send him an email. He can get you registered. He is the one running that. And
honestly,
ask him about the water
Bill, if we don't hear any questions, it'll be story time with Stacy.
There you go.
Goodness knows he's got one for every occasion. So
yes, he does.
Bernie, is he like attached to you? I mean, it just seems like the last couple of weeks when you show up,
he harasses me constantly. So
whatever
I do, there he is harassing. So
you missed it so much when he was in Osceola County. He's found his way home to Bernie so he can harass you.
Well, he's the one that really taught me all of the things that I learned early in being a master gardener. And so for that, I'm forever grateful. But other than that, he is out of pain. He's also the busiest man I have ever met. So.
Yep. Bernie and I learned master gardening together, and from Dr. Strickland there and Jim Mall. If we had a question, we just shouted it out, and they would make us find the answers.
The Master Gardener program is really a great program. But the problem is, so many people wait until they're retired. So, for a lot of people, that means age 65 or even older. And the problem is, physically, about that point, you start having less and less ability to be a gardener. So, and the things are not as important because if you're not physically able to do them, you're not learning as much. So, what I think would be more appropriate is if you have an interest in being a really good gardener, but more important in being able to share your knowledge and help other people, then
Mhm.
maybe you should
Absolutely.
start at a younger age. And if you could, uh, like our group now, you can do this pretty much online. So it's very possible for somebody that's working to uh, go through the program and get a master gardener degree type thing. You can end up then uh, doing some things earlier in life, and the amount of education that you get just being around, uh, you learn so much that you wouldn't learn otherwise, and it puts you in a position that in your younger years you can do the physical things, the practice, and actually put being a master gardener into practice. And then as you age, you can take the wisdom that you've gained during those years and pass it on to the next generation. So uh, I'm really thankful that I did that. I no longer have the ability to bend over and pull a weed. If I bend over, I'm there until somebody comes and straightens me back out. But
Yeah, getting down's easy. It's the getting up part.
yeah, getting up is not fun. And
Yeah.
and of course the weeds know when I'm coming around because you can hear them chuckle. So
Mhm.
Huh.
Bernie is on year 20 of being a master gardener, aren't you?
I am,
Yes.
and it's really kind of sad that at this point I have gained all this tremendous knowledge that I really I don't get an opportunity to use it like I would really like to.
But
I
you get an
really
opportunity to spread the knowledge to others, which
I
is
really enjoy passing the knowledge on it. When people come in, I love to help them. And of course, I've got a lot of stories that over the past 20 years that I can pass on. But the truth is, if I had started earlier, if I hadn't waited until I retired, I would even be much better at what I do. And uh,
yeah, but you didn't even know you liked plants until then.
never did any gardening ever until we moved to Florida. And my initial gardening was I went to the big box store, I bought the biggest, prettiest things they had and watched them die.
Yep.
And after I spent enough money that I couldn't afford to do that anymore, I took a class at the extension office. I was just amazed. Here was all this free information. People that don't use their extension are wasting a tremendous asset that they've already paid for. People don't understand it's all free because you've already paid for it. So, what is the volunteer time on Master Gardeners? Most places in the state, it's 75 hours a year that you have to volunteer. And
Every
our
year.
location, it's 50 hours a year that you have to volunteer. But generally, that's not the problem. The problem is finding the time to get started. We have so many people that go through the class and then don't come back and don't do anything. And like I say, you really need to start at a much earlier age. Um, you know, if you're 40 years old and you go to the nursery and learn about some plants and what it takes to plant them and propagate them, that's a great start. And you add a little knowledge, maybe you learn about citrus. Well, citrus is just starting over. This would be a wonderful time for somebody to become a citrus specialist. Uh, I happen to be a lawn specialist. It's the thing that sitting here answering questions, uh, probably a good 80% of the questions that come in are on lawns. Uh, And that varies. Different times of the year, the questions are different. We don't get many long questions in the middle of the winter. Um, we get a lot of pruning questions in the middle of the winter. So, just pruning is something that very few people really understand how it's done correctly. And if you have certain plants, a peach tree requires an absolute important type of pruning. Well, if you don't have any education and you're not supplying any education to people, nobody knows these things. And like I say, this has all been paid for with tax dollars. Make it available and use it. Bill has done everything he possibly could to up the number of master gardeners and make the information more available. The online program, I don't think honestly is as effective as in class, but the truth is only older people have time for the in class. So if you want to start, the important thing is to actually make the first step. The old Chinese thing about the journey of 1,000 miles begins with the first step. Well, it's the same thing with master gardeners. And once you become a master gardener, it's a pretty exclusive group, and it's a great way to lead a life. You're learning something that's usable forever and ever and ever, and something that you can pass on. If you only pass it on in your own family, it's very important. There will be a time when the ability to raise your own food may be the most important thing in your life. So.
And there has never been a master gardener who has not, at the end of class, had their panic moment thinking, I took that whole class and I know nothing. Every single master gardener has gone through that. And it really is the volunteering, the helping others, the researching, the going out there in the nursery with the other gardeners, taking from the other gardeners knowledge that one day you realize, oh, I've been doing this for 5 years now and I may know a few things.
Well, the thing about it is the extension service is the gateway to the university for the public. If Joe Blow wants to know something that is information that the university has, the place you start to get the information is the extension. And the place that you start into the extension is with the master gardeners. So if you get to a master gardener, even if they have no clue whatsoever, they have access to all the information that the university has. And the ability to find all these different things with one starting point is a tremendous asset for the public. So, I'm not pushing the fact that we're something special, because we really aren't, but we are trained to provide information that for most people isn't readily available somewhere else. And it's free. That's, there's very little in life anymore that's free, and information, good information, is free, and it's available at your extension office. I've got to stop preaching.
And I, who went through the Florida Master Gardener training and then also got a degree in horticulture, I'm going to be taking the Pennsylvania Master Gardener training with my group of people that I've recruited, to take it, just to get more specific Pennsylvania knowledge. But, I have those moments of panic that I'm not going to know answers to what people are asking. And a lot of times, I'd say at least 80% of the time, the question is so general that yes, I can answer it. And I was sitting at our local fair, and a gentleman came up and said his tomatoes are just doing nothing. We get this question a lot. They're just sitting there, they're doing nothing. What's the problem? And I told him it's the heat. We've been very, very hot, and it's going to get every bug or disease that a tomato can get. I said, and the reason it's doing nothing is because they will not set fruit when it stays above 70 at night. And he just looked like, he goes, I did not know that. And then the master gardener next to me was like, I did not know that either. And he walked away saying, thank you. I did not know that. And then I whispered to the master gardener, I went, Florida facts. You know,
I know it's great when you know the answer to a question, especially kind of a oddball question, and it's really unusual oddball kind of answer.
Mhm.
So that always makes me
Yeah.
feel good. And if it's something I'm not familiar with or I don't know the answer, I just go and ask Stacy. So
There you go.
he's
Yeah, he
got
has all the
some kind
answers.
of answer for everything.
He does.
Whether he makes it up or not. And I think that it's really a good thing that we do have the backup. I don't really mind people asking questions I don't know the answer to, because it means that it means something to somebody, and it gives me an opportunity to learn something more. So when you can't learn anymore, you're probably not breathing anymore. So I don't know of
Yeah,
anybody
it's like
that, even Stacy, doesn't know it all. So
yeah, because people will contact us on such a broad spectrum of topics. Lily's back. I know. I think somebody contacted us on Facebook with pictures of an aquatic plant in their pond or lake or whatever it might be. I can't site ID every aquatic plant. And, a lot of them, I've been to trainings where they have different aquatic plants and they'll have the native and the invasive one. And I'm looking at them, it's like they look the same to me. I can't tell any difference. Oh, well, if you peel a leaf back, there's 2 little fine hairs on this one and 3 fine hairs on the invasive one. It's like, really? I don't see it. So I'm not going to be able to answer invasive versus native aquatic plants off the top of my head. But fortunately, we do have experts at the university. We take pictures, we mail samples, we get it to them and figure out what it is.
yeah, it's one of those things that if you really want to get exposure, I won't say that you're going to learn everything, because they throw so much at you so quick with this program. But you get exposed, and you realize what things are out there, and you have a feel. And most people are not looking for something absolute specific. Uh, if you come in and you've got a weed and you want to know what kind of weed is this, the first question I ask is, do you want to know what the weed is, or do you want to know how to get rid of it? And for the most part, I can look at a weed and tell you the correct way to get rid of it, but I may not be able to tell you what it is. So identification isn't necessarily what people really want, but determining what they really want and what it takes to help them is what a master gardener does. So how successful are we growing finger limes? I love that. Mine is still going. I have not killed it yet. That's a fairly new plant, and we don't have a tremendous amount of information locally here in the county. They are somewhat cold hardy. They do not have a real serious problem with citrus greening.
Yeah, they don't get it.
Commercially, they're not a bad plant. There's a couple of different types, and I see nothing wrong with growing finger limes. I would think that for the average person, that finger limes might be one of the best citruses that you could plant. So.
Why do they call it that, Bernie? Are they shaped like fingers, or what is?
They're shaped like thumbs, and they're either a greenish color or a reddish brown color. And what's really amazing is in the inside, when you cut one in two, is millions of little round things. They're not like any of the other citruses. They don't have a central core and lots of little segments. They just have all these little tiny balls, and they're very, very tasty. So
Mhm.
like I
And I
say, the
think
mine is doing well. Bill has
Hold on.
one, and Bill's doing well. So, um, from personal experience, none of the people we sold them in our nursery, and none of the people have come back and said these things are no good. So they're all been too young to really produce. So we can't give you a
it takes a
real
few
good
years, I think.
indication, on fruiting, but the plants that we can get, uh, we're looking in 2 to 3 years that we should start having reasonable fruit. The trees that they did the research with are in the 10 to 14-foot tall range. They really look nice. The trees have developed very well. So they're almost a specimen tree. They're kind of a neat thing to have. So I mean, if you
And
want to plant one in the front yard, you could get by with it.
they seem pretty hardy. Mine did not have any problems with the cold weather this past winter, although we only had one night where it got really cold, like freezing or below. But it didn't bother it at all. And with the erratic rainfall and the dry spring and on and off dry summer, it has not been growing a lot, but it has not wilted. It hasn't looked terrible. So they do seem pretty tough.
I got what I would consider the first real flush since I planted mine about 2 weeks ago. So
I fertilized mine with citrus fertilizer a while back and got a flush out of it. I need to do that again.
Nice.
Yeah.
What about pawpaw trees? I know you have native ones in Florida, but
We have the native ones that gopher tortoises love and other animals.
yeah. I know I had ones that would come up in my yard, but only get so far. They would get pretty flowers, and then they would end up freezing. But I guess they used to be here in Pennsylvania, and they're coming back. You can even find them in the wild. But let me tell you, for anybody wanting the permaculture, or they are the trendy tree to have. We will have them at our fall plant sale. They had them last year. About 100 of them, and they were gone in 20 minutes. So
Wow.
this year we're putting a limit, four per household, because you do need more than one for cross pollination. But I think they were always in West Virginia, and now they're moving back up this way. And yeah, everybody wants a pawpaw tree.
Yeah, I'm from Indiana, and pawpaw trees and Osage orange trees used to populate all the fence rows.
Yeah.
And
monkey brain trees.
The farmers took out as many fence rows as possible. Makes for easier farming in a lot of cases, and gave them some additional land. And there was a big push on NFO to hold back commodities back in the 70s, I believe it was. And so all the farmers went to this big meeting, agreed to hold back commodities. Everybody went home and thought, if my neighbor is going to hold back, prices are going to be big. And they all ripped out their fence rows and planted street to street. I mean, the biggest crop we ever had was the year they all held back on crops. So, and it pretty well wiped out the pawpaw and the Osage orange in the whole state. I mean, it was really kind of sad. So, and
the Osage oranges weren't native, were they?
I don't know. They those little dimpled fruity things that they were.
They call them monkey brains around here.
They were great throwing at each other.
Yes.
Kids, that's what.
When I haven't seen any of those since I've lived up here. I mean, they were here before, right?
Yeah.
But now the pawpaw trees are coming back, and they are a host tree for the zebra swallowtail butterfly, which I only recently learned that.
Do we recommend irrigation for finger lime? That's one.
Yeah, if it needs it, yes. I mean, don't do like water,
but it doesn't need wet feet. So that's one of those things. The ability to water it, if you have a long dry period, is really necessary. What you do not want with any of the citrus is to give it wet feet. So if you water it, give it a big healthy drink and let it dry before you give it a big healthy drink again.
What about mulching under it? Is it still the same rules that it used to be about citrus and mulch?
Yeah, treat it like a citrus tree. Bare ground underneath it. Oh, isn't that pretty?
Here we have the Osage orange, and it's only native to a very small area, pre-Columbian. So if it's up there in Indiana and Pennsylvania, we've done a fine job of moving it around.
I've seen them in Florida, so they are everywhere. That's, like I say, that's one of the kids' favorites. So, and they aren't edible.
And I don't know how true it is, but people take the fruits and put them in their cellars because it's supposed to deter spiders and other insects.
Oh. Well, I'm sure if they were in Maryland when I was a kid, we would just throw them at each other.
That happens too, yes.
It looks like it's the perfect size and shape for that.
Exactly.
Okay, guys, looks like it's getting to be that time. So if anybody has any really quick last-minute questions you want to go ahead and throw in, please do so now. And let me very quickly show my email address, the office's phone number. If you'd like to get in contact with us, you can call, speak with Bernie. He's here on Thursdays normally. For those of you who might be watching us on a YouTube channel, we are also on Facebook and very active on Facebook. So be sure to look us up. Our short name is Hernando EXT on Facebook. Once again, there is the Master Garden Nursery. We have lots and lots of recorded classes on Hernando County Government's YouTube channel. And Lily still has over 100 recorded classes?
Something like that, yes. They're all Florida related because I was the Florida Friendly Landscaping Program
no Pennsylvania
coordinator.
ones up there yet. So
No.
And if you need Colby for anything, there is Colby's email. Just shoot him an email. If you want information about rain barrel classes, compost bin classes, he takes care of registration for all of those. And
call your local extension office and sign up for the Master Gardener program. You'll never regret it. Thank you.
There you go.
How much is it in Florida now?
It all depends. It runs a wider range than in the past.
How much is it in Hernando County?
Ours is still, for this moment, $150 to go through the training. We do not provide the state training manual, the book, to save on costs. So like I said, right now, the cost is $150.
Okay. In Pennsylvania, it is it's statewide. Everything is, the county, everybody does the same thing and at the same time. And it is online, but the entire state is taking it at the same time. And there is a beautiful hardcover manual involved, but it's $250 here.
Our counties that involve the manual, and then especially the manual, and doing it online, there's a few of them. It's more like $250-ish also. Price of everything is going up. So on that note, guys, thank you so much for everybody who joined us live today. I am not sure if we will be back again next week because I'm going to be off next Thursday. I will check with Colby to see if he wants to do a clinic. So next Thursday, maybe we'll be here. Maybe we won't. Not really positive yet. But the Thursday after that, we'll be here. And Bernie, I'll try getting a hold of new Master Gardener in training, Kaylee, because Kaylee's an excellent example of younger people joining up and becoming Master Gardeners, because Kaylee's only 23. So,
Oh, that's great.
that is so you're sitting here telling people to be a Master Gardener. Guys, we try to make it as inclusive as we possibly can. We're trying to involve as much of the community as we possibly can. We are big believers in diversity here. So we try to get people from different ages, different backgrounds, different experience levels. Don't think you have to be an expert gardener to become a Master Gardener. You don't have to. As a matter of fact, it's almost better if you don't know anything.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
You can't know less than I knew when I started.
So
I still remember the final exam. Bernie was sitting there. Yeah, Bernie could not remember, what was it, chamber bitter?
Chamber bitter, yes.
It was just a weed that he'll never forget now, but he was sitting at the table and his brain just stopped. He couldn't ID the chamber bitter. I mean, it happens to all of us. The point is, just keep going on, and you have to have the heart to share your knowledge. That's what it's about.
Mm-hmm. He learned, so don't worry about it. But if you're interested in being a Master Gardener in Florida, just reach out to your county's extension office and ask for details, and they'd be more than happy to get you all set up. So, guys, I think that's about it today. We're running a little bit late this morning, but that's okay. And like I said, we may or may not be here next Thursday, but we will definitely be here the following Thursday. So please be sure to save up all your lawn and garden questions for then and ask us, and we'll answer them live. So until then, thanks again, guys. See y'all later. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.